Alright, hello people, I'm the dude and this is Warframe. They just released a new update, which coincides with my first Warframe video because I put off playing this game. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. And it turns out that was a mistake. It's a really good game. Uh, it's kind of a cross between Ninja Gaiden with the kind of parkour moves mixed in with a third-person shooter, third-person class-based shooter with upgrades and mods and abilities and tons of customization. It's just really fun is the short version. The new update, which is 11.5, I think? Yeah, 11.5. They added in a new tile set, which I'll be showing in a minute. They changed a bunch of Warframes. The one I'm going to be showing is Ember. They changed several of her abilities. I think it was... Yeah, this one was completely changed. The name, the functionality, everything about it. It's now an area stun, and it increases all fire damage dealt, which is what Ember does. She's all fire damage. So, I don't know if I like it per se. She doesn't have that huge defensive boost now. The ability before, the way it used to work, it reduced damage she took by 90%, which basically turned her into a tank. And now she just doesn't have that anymore. She's a damage frame, which is kind of saddening because there's a lot of damage frames as it is. You don't really need another one, another pure damage frame, and that's what she is now, so World on Fire did not get changed, but it's her best ability, so I'm going to keep it. And Fireball, they changed the way it works slightly. You'll see in game, like, the projectile moves faster now, and the way the damage is added to enemies was changed a little bit. It doesn't really matter. The big change was Accelerant, which is what it's called now. But anyways, new tile set. They changed Ember, which I just showed you. They changed Sauron, which I don't own, so I can't really show you that. And one other one. Who else did they change? Was it Trinity? They changed one other Warframe. I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. The one I'm going to be showing today is Ember. More importantly, they also introduced a new frame, which is interesting. It's called Oberon. Yeah, right there, Oberon. And looking at the abilities and how they function and their base damage, he looks really underwhelming. He's like this pseudo support frame, but he can't compete with Trinity. And if you're a support frame and you can't compete with Trinity, what's the point? I mean, technically, I guess he does do damage as well, but not much from what I've seen. One of my friends already unlocked him. I was playing with him earlier, and it looks pretty bad. The damages on his abilities look really terrible. So, yeah, Oberon does not look good. The new weapons, they don't really look amazing either. The Karak is the new rifle, which should be around here somewhere. Primary weapons... Yeah, this right here. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it's not different enough to be anything special. As far as the base stats go. The goo gun, which is a secondary, I think. Let's see, weapons, secondary. Yeah, the Stug. Not only does it look hideous, it is easily the ugliest weapon in the game. It's also probably, ironically enough, the best out of the new ones. It's base corrosive damage, which means it's going to be great against Grineer. Although you won't be able to make elemental combinations easily with it. Not without, what you normally have to do, adding in 2 elements. I guess it'd be easier to combine 2 different combined elements on this weapon, because it's already got one. I don't know, whatever. The way it works is it's a grenade launcher type. That's the arc of it. That's the way it functions. But it's sticky. So if you shoot an enemy with it, it'll stick to them, and then they can run around, and it'll explode after a certain amount of time. It seems like the best out of the 3. And then the melee weapon, it looks very uninteresting. The, what is it called? Magistrar? This thing right here, the mace. The base stats, its functionality, it's just another melee weapon. They haven't really done anything interesting with melee weapons in this game. They just, you pull them out, you swing them at the enemy, and it does damage. It's not like the primaries where you have different functionalities and different types of damage and different types of activation and stuff like that. So anyways, there's all the new stuff for the update, and like I said, we are going to be showing off the new tile set. which is on Earth. And it is this one right here, Cicero Injector. And I'm going to be doing this one solo. I was going to plan to play with a couple of friends in game, but it's so late now that one of them had to go, and the other one, at the very least, had things to do, so it has turned into a solo affair. One of these Warframe videos, I will get everyone together, and we'll do a group thing, but for now, I'm just going to show off the changes to Ember, which, by the way, is one of my favorite Warframes. Luckily, they didn't change her best move, World on Fire. Thank God, because it literally is one of my favorite abilities, Warframe abilities, in the entire game. It's that good. Unequivocally that good, so I'm glad they didn't mess with it. So yes, here is my Ember. Why am I all white? What the hell happened to my character? Interesting. They changed her skin. Her base skin is different. What the It looks bad. That or they changed my appearance setup, because I didn't mess with it. This is completely different, so there's something, I guess, that they changed. I don't like it as much, though. My weapons, I'm using the Heck, what are they called? The nail guns, whatever the hell the name of them are. They shoot nails for the secondary. And then for my melee, the Fang, which is my favorite melee weapon in the game. So, there's this setup for you. And this is the new tile set. It's all plants and roots and trees and grass and very rainforesty, I guess, with some technology mixed in. At the very least, it's more pleasing to the eye than the industrial crap that you get in all the other tile sets. I mean, the only thing that's even slightly organic are the Orkin tile sets. But, yeah, anyways, see if we can find some enemies. I didn't even notice what the type of mission was. It looks like it's Exterminate, so that'll work. And okay, so that's where I started at. Where the hell are these guys at? I haven't done this tile set much, so I have no idea how the hell it works. As far as, like, the layout. Okay, here we go. Nice little plant growth on the walls there. And then the water, as you just saw. If you look up, you can actually look through the water, which is interesting. Oh, okay, hi there. He hasn't noticed me yet, even though he's looking right at me. What the hell? Oh, there we go. It looked like he wasn't waking up properly. That's why I waited to see if he would. See if it was a glitch or a bug or something like that. Hello, friend. Are you shooting the rock? Good luck with that. Let's see, where... Oh, there you are. It seems like their palettes are off. I don't know if it's the lighting or what, but their palettes do not seem to be correct. Let's go and use World on Fire for the hell of it. They're doing a lot more damage than I'm used to, too. I didn't check the level range of this place. It may very well be very high. I don't know. Yes, explode, my friends. Exterminate is the worst mission type for Ember, because the enemies are really spread out. They're few and far between. In defense or survival, Ember really shines big time. But in Exterminate or Deception or some of the Sabotage missions, she kind of loses her luster, so to speak. She really needs a lot of enemies. Preferably not a lot of strong enemies. A lot of moderately tough enemies, preferably. Just shot that guy through the wall because of punch through. I'll do it again. Nope, he moved. Yeah, love shotguns. All three of my primaries are shotguns. So in the future episodes, expect to see a whole lot of shotguns. Because I'm more or less obsessed with them. And, I'm trying to look at the background as I play. I'm not really saying much about it, but it looks really nice. It's really eye-pleasing. Much more so than, like I said, all the industrial stuff just gets really samey looking. This is really nice looking. Although it doesn't seem to be as 3D as the other maps. There's not as much vertical movement on these. Seems to be it's a lot of just, you know, flat terrain for the most part. Well, I mean, not flat, like, you know, one level. There's not as much up and down movement. Hello, friends. I have World on Fire. No, sorry about that. Did I set your world on fire? I apologize. So, yeah, that's World on Fire, by the way, in case you've never seen Ember. Oh, one of those grappling hook guys? Oh, okay, it's a rocket. Alright. Rocketeer. Oh god, I'm getting destroyed. Oh god, I'm gonna have to revive. I was not watching my health. And sadly, I do not have Ember's defense to fall back on anymore. Like I said, they removed it. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and show off her second. There's Accelerant right there. They should have been stunned. There we go. And now they take more fire damage. He's gonna kick the crap out of me again. Friendos? Ceasefire truce, my friend. He does not want to get shot. Luckily, my shotgun is all-powerful. I think I need to change... Hold up. Let's see. Options. Hopefully I don't get shot. I'm trying to do this. Options, controls. I am using a controller because I am a scrub. What can I say? Power A. Yeah, I don't even have it assigned. None of the frames I use do I even use the first power on. So, I don't like the first powers, as a general rule. But, like I said, I'm going to try out the fireball, so let's give her a shot. Did I just miss? Okay, there we go. I'd like to get multiple of them together, if possible. But it might not be easy to do, seeing as this is Exterminate. Like I said, Exterminate missions are great at just spreading everything out. Wow, that missed too. Okay. Doesn't have much of a radius, does it? And I'm out of energy. Okay. I'll make sure I get enough energy to try it on a group of enemies so you can see it. Like I said, they changed the way the damage applies now. And the projectile speed, it was pretty slow before. I think now it's 50% faster, if I remember right. Interesting. Huh. Okay. I don't know what the hell that is. Looks like we're going that way, though. Okay, someone is right here. If my ears do not deceive me, there he is. Oh, come on. I don't want to backflip. I want to climb. There we go. The game is like, no, you want to backflip. I insist. There we go, shooting through objects again. If you're going to use shotguns at all in this game, I highly recommend punch through. It's just too good. Not only can you shoot through multiple enemies, if one is in front of the other, which lets you kill multiple targets with one shot. Oh, really? I hate that roll so much. That forced roll when you land. Even if it's like a step, like, you know, a foot drop below you, your character still has to do this forced roll, which is irritating as hell. But, yeah, if you're gonna... Oh, there's a hole right there. Okay. If you're gonna use the shotguns, get the punch through. In fact, I'd recommend if you're gonna make shotguns your primary, get the punch through as fast as possible. It makes them so much better. I don't actually primary the other weapons, so maybe they're not quite as good with punch through, but as far as the shotguns go, yes please. Very, very good. This mission does not seem to be much more difficult than I'm used to. This is a completely different map. It's not only a different tile set. This map itself wasn't normally there on Earth. The injection site or whatever, something injector, Cicero injector. It's completely new, so I didn't know what to expect here. I have played it once, but yeah, now that I've played it twice, it doesn't seem very difficult. It's pretty tame. So, anyways, I would have liked to have found... Let's just go ahead and test it on a different map, now that I think about it. Because, like I said, this one is Exterminate, and everything's really spread out. We'll find a map with lots of enemies. Lots of juicy targets. But, overall, I like the tile set quite a bit. You just got to see it pretty much in depth. I don't think the hero is going to be any good. Like I said, I was playing with two people earlier, and they both unlocked them right off the bat because they don't mind spending money on the game. I do that rarely on free-to-play games, but, you know, I didn't do it in this case. I think he's like $25 worth or something like that just to unlock the hero, Oberon. And like I said, he doesn't look good. Just straight up does not look good. Let's find a survival. Capture, spy, exterminate, capture, sabotage. There we go, that'll work. And play. So yeah, I love the tile set. Oberon looks terrible, I'm not gonna lie. The weapons don't look amazing. Even the one that I thought looks the best of the three, it's basically just a sticky version of the grenade launcher they just came out with. The, what the hell is it called? The one that came out in the last update. Forgot what the name of it is. But, it doesn't look bad. The changes to Ember, I don't like. I liked the 90% damage reduction before. Having the area stun, it's kind of nice, but it's... I don't know, it's not a good trade-off for Ember, honestly. I mean, 90% damage reduction, that's pretty damn good. Any way you look at it. Oops. There we go. I mean, an area stun is nice, but most of the level 3s hit a wider area than her stun does. And some of them just do better effects, period. I mean, I don't know. I'm not seeing it, honestly. Where is the life support? Life support is this way. I hear you. You gonna kill him, Sentinel? I think I stripped my Sentinel because I was re-equipping it. Oh. Okay. Let's line these guys up and fireball them. Oh, really? God damn it. Fire! Oh, wow, that did nothing. Really, that's the damage? This is maxed out damage. Or, well, maxed out rank. 490. Okay, that's not bad, but it's not doing anything to anyone else. Well, that guy was standing right next to him. And it did nothing. See if I can group them up a bit better. He has deer antlers. Did you see that? What the hell? Look at this guy. What the hell? Oh, get out of my face. Okay, so they're lined up more or less. Oh, wow, it went in between them. So the hitbox on it is really small, and it doesn't seem to do much splash. Although, admittedly, it's hard to get them to line up. But yeah, it doesn't. The splash radius seems really small now. Of course, it wasn't an ability I used much in the first place, so maybe it's the same. I don't honestly know. I tried all of Ember's abilities when I first unlocked her, and I hated Fireball, so I never really used it much. There's that punch through. 2 for 1. Come on, really? Get the hell off me. Let's go ahead and hit the life. What the hell is that? Oh, there's presents on the ground. What the? Oh, it's just a container. Okay. Alright. I didn't see any of this in the new tile set. The presents or whatever, and the deer antlers and all that other crap. Interesting. But yeah, like I said, I didn't use Fireball much. I just tested it out and saw that the damage was kind of blah. And it was really hard to connect with it, so I stopped using it. I'm not an expert on how Fireball used to be. But as it is now, I mean, look. He's literally standing right next to him and he took no damage. So, yeah, the splash on it is pretty much non-existent. See if we can line up some more. Okay, so that actually hit this one. But still, that's really small radius. That is tiny radius. It seems to do decent damage considering I don't even have any power increase from my mods at the moment. So, I think I have Streamline and Flow on at the moment. As far as power mods. Come on, really? Stop grabbing me. Fireball? Oh, it doesn't look like it does any splash at all from the ground. Let's try it again. Yeah, see, he was just standing right on top of it, and it did nothing as far as splash. So, if you're trying to hit an obstacle, or the floor or whatever, and hoping the splash is going to kill them, good luck, it's not going to happen. I just tested it 3 times in a row, and it did nothing. So, interesting. And the damage really isn't anything to write home about. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing. I mean, my World on Fire does somewhere, what is it, like 300 to 400 or whatever? That Fireball was doing 500 to a single target. That's not much more for a single target nuke. Goodbye, my friend. Deer antlers and all. There we go. I think that was, yep, that was a 2 right there at least. Maybe a 3. There's another 2. Let's go and use Accelerant again. See if I can get some more together. This is survival, so they will probably be more than happy to group up. Oh, my Sentinel is killing them. Maybe I didn't remove his mods. I can't remember. I was messing with his mods earlier, but I can't remember if I stripped him or not. Get away from me, friend. And it looks like they are not grouping up yet. Huh, okay. Really? Okay. What the hell? Oh, mission failed, okay. Well, anyways, you got to see some of the changes to Ember. I don't like them at all. I probably should have used Accelerant more, but you saw what it did. In a really small radius, it stuns enemies. And then it increases the fire damage that they take. So, if you want to waste extra energy to do a little bit more damage, from what I'm seeing, it's a substantial amount of damage. I can't say a little bit. I don't know if it's worth it. You'd have to get in range, use the Accelerant, hopefully get the stun off, but like I said, the range on the stun is kind of iffy. Hopefully get the damage debuff off, because again, the range of the ability is kind of iffy. It's not huge. It's not like World on Fire or anything like that. Most of the area damaging abilities in this game, they hit a massive area. Most of the rooms in this game, they'll fill the entire room. This ability is one of the smaller ones. So getting the stun to hit, getting the fire damage increase to hit, it's fairly iffy. But I guess you could set that up first and then use World on Fire. I suppose. I don't know. It seems to be about the range of her, what is it, her second ability? Now that I think about it. Let's see. Warframes, Ember, upgrade. What the hell is her second ability called? Fire Blast. This is another ability I didn't like much, so I don't use it much. But the range on the new Accelerant seems to be about the same as Fire Blast, maybe a little bit farther than that. It's definitely not, you know, World on Fire range. But yeah, honestly, maybe I'll end up being in the minority. Maybe people just want her to be a damaging frame, but I liked her before. She was a pseudo tank that could also do damage. Now she's just one roll. She's just damage, period. The 90% damage reduction is completely gone, which is probably going to drop her in my estimation, honestly. Before, she was about probably my third favorite. Now she has no defensive abilities at all to fall back on, so if she gets in a tough spot, she's just dead, period. Before you got in a tough spot, you popped, whatever the hell it was called before. Fire Wave, or whatever the hell her old second ability used to be. Whenever you got in danger, you'd pop that, and she'd become almost unkillable for the duration, unless you're just in really high level, you know, like, I don't know, 50 wave plus or something like that. She had 90% damage reduction. That's huge, you know, that will save you, that will keep you alive long enough to res people, or get an objective, or whatever the hell you need to do. You know, it gave you time, it gave you space. She has none of that anymore. Instead, she has a small area stun. Basically, I don't know. I'm disappointed. Like I said, she was probably my second or third favorite frame. Now she's going to fall quite far in my estimation. I probably won't even play her much anymore. I don't tend to like the frames that are just there for damage, and that's what she is now. She's nothing else but damage. Let's see. I think probably my favorite still is... Oh, it's tough now. I really like Excalibur. I didn't actually start with Excalibur. I started with Mag, and I ended up selling her because I just didn't like Mag at all. She's another one where she's primarily just damage, although she breaks the golden rule in that her first ability is insanely good. Pull. Her initial ability is by far her best. It's so good that it rivals some of the third abilities in the game, which are almost all crowd control. For pretty much every frame, it's a crowd control ability for the third one, usually in a big radius. Pull doesn't hit quite as big a radius, but it's easier to target, and it still hits a radius, and it's still crowd control, so it's really good. The problem was, all three of her other abilities I didn't like. I didn't like her base stats. I hate her look. Her design, her model is terrible. So I ended up, I started the game with her, got her to, I think it was like 28, and then I unlocked Rhino, and never looked back in Mag. And at some point, I had unlocked pretty much everything I have right now, and I just didn't want her anymore. I didn't play her anymore, so I didn't care. Ended up getting rid of her. Shield Polarize is good for bosses, but that's pretty situational. And like I said, Pull was really the only thing I cared about. So yeah, Mag I got rid of. So like I said, ironically enough, I didn't start with Excalibur. I actually had to get him. But he's quickly become probably my favorite frame. He has overall decent stats in every category. Nothing is lackluster, nothing is lacking. Most of the frames, they're really good at something and they're really terrible at everything else. He's just good across the board. Not amazing, but good. Above average, whatever you want to call it. And his abilities lend itself to doing pretty much anything. He's got Blind for crowd control. He's got one of the hardest hitting final abilities in the game, especially if you combine it with Shield Polarize. But even if you don't, it still hits like a truck. It clears rooms really reliably, and it looks cool as hell. He's one of the faster frames, not the fastest, but he's not one of the slower ones like Rhino or Frost or fucking Trinity. Trinity is so slow. He has no weaknesses. And I think people overlook him because they want to be amazing at something, They want the invulnerability so they can tank forever, or they want the highest damage in the game, or something like that. He's not really amazing at any one thing. He's just good at everything. So I think Excalibur is still probably my favorite. But Frost and Vauban, which I haven't unlocked yet, I'm working on unlocking him. Those are the two best for defense, unequivocally. I don't think anyone else even comes close to Vauban and Frost. God forbid you have both of them. It used to be people liked Nyx for defense, but I see her almost never now at all. I can't remember the last time I saw a Nyx. Pretty much, Frost is guaranteed to be in every single defense mission. You're going to have at least one Frost. And Vauban isn't as popular as Frost, but he's I wouldn't say he's as good. Overall, I mean, if you had to choose between them, I'd rather have a Frost, but they're still both really good at it. Really good at defense. And then Rhino and Trinity are the tanks, or at the very least the best tanks. Where the hell is Trinity at? I'm completely blind. There she is. Rhino and Trinity get the invulnerability, which is really all you need to tank. And by tank, I mean be able to run over and revive people without falling over constantly. That's what tanking means in this game. It's not like you're taking damage for other people. Trinity's the unequivocal best support, which is so lame. I don't know why they haven't nerfed her yet, honestly. I mean, she leaves no variety at all. Damn near every mission type, everyone wants a Trinity. It doesn't even matter what it is. Everyone wants a Trinity because she's just that good. And I don't know, it leaves no room for variety at all. But yeah, like I said, also, she's one of the best tanks because she has invulnerability. Not just for her, for the entire fucking team. And if they're dropping any energy at all, she can keep it up all the time. So yeah, Trinity's ridiculous. The other frames, I don't honestly know. I mean, Ashe, Loki, and Volt are all good at melee if that's your thing. I don't really like melee in this game. I only use the melee weapons when something is about to die, but I need to reload or something like that. Extenuating circumstances. If I'm about to run out of ammo with my shotgun, or I need to reload or something like that, then I'll switch to melee. But using it as a primary weapon, I just don't see the point. It's not like melee does infinitely more damage than guns. And guns are at range. You don't have to run up to everything. You can just pivot and kill things. So I don't get it, honestly. Other than just style, I guess. But if you want melee, Ashe, Loki, or Volt are probably the three best. Best crowd control, probably Vauban with the Bastille. I don't think anyone else even comes close. Best damage, Ember probably is still the best damage. If you're counting like damage per second, not like outright damage. Her Will on Fire does more damage than all the other ultimates over time. And nothing resists fire, so I don't know. I guess Ember would probably be the highest damage. Although highest single target damage would definitely be Excalibur combined with Shield Polarize. You put that on the enemy, or not Shield Polarize, what is it called? Or is it that? Whatever the one she puts on them where every projectile is automatically pulled into them. She puts that on him, you stand near them, you pop his radial javelin, and all the javelins hit the target. The damage is insane. So if you care about single target damage and you don't mind using another Warframe to set it up, Excalibur has the highest. Banshee I never see. Necros you see rarely, but he's kind of lackluster. Nova I see every once in a while. It's not a bad frame. Not particularly amazing. Valkyrie you saw her a lot when she first came out. She's fallen off in popularity as far as I can tell. You don't see her as much, but she's still there. As far as viability, I don't know. I don't know. They changed... That's the other one they changed in the patch. Her shout now gives her... What is it? Her shout has a second bonus attached to it, but more importantly, her final ability gives her health. When she does her, punch mode, where she's like running around punching things at super speed, she steals health now with it. So that's, I don't know, kind of cool, I guess. Gives her sustainability whenever she uses her final ability, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But, yeah, there's a breakdown of all the frames and, I don't know, my opinion of them. I'm not, I'm only ranked 6. I've only been playing the game for like a month and a half or like a month and a week or something like that, so take it with a grain of salt. It's just my experience so far. But, a lot of them seem like they really need a lot of work. Which is kind of disappointing because Ember didn't need a change. Valkyrie didn't need a change. I mean, you'd think they'd work on balancing the ones that are very questionable picks at the moment, but no, they changed the other ones. I don't know. I had no problem with Ember the way she was, and in my opinion, they nerfed her. They didn't make her better. I mean, it's not like she had a burning need for a short-range stun. And they took away her only defensive move, so I don't get it. I have no idea. Whatever. Sauron gets notable mention as the coolest, whatever you want to call it, frame, looking, the way she looks. Her graphic, or, I don't know, whatever they want to call it, is really, really nice looking. In fact, I almost made her last week, in which I ended up making, who was it? I think it was Nyx. I made Nyx. Haven't claimed her yet because I'm still not sure if I even want her. But I almost made her just because her graphic is so nice. Sauron's. Her abilities are, I don't know, she works kind of like a mix between Loki and Ember combined. Because she's got a similar number 1 as Ember. And her final ability does damage over time, kind of like Ember's. But she has Loki's decoy. And then she has some really weird, like, melee damage increase move or something. I don't know. Whatever. But it does, I think it does, like, toxic damage only. If I remember right. So, I guess. I don't know what they were thinking with her. A real mishmash of stuff. Not much utility other than the decoy. And in that case, you'd probably be better off with Loki, unless you just have a burning need for damage. I don't know. Whatever. All rambling, I suppose. Most of the frames I've tried, because I've played them on other people's accounts. I think the only one to date I haven't tried is Nova. No one has Nova for some reason. I don't know why. But all the other ones I've tried, I believe. Oh, and not Oberon, obviously. But like I said, the 2 that I played with earlier, I'll play it on one of their accounts later, but it does not seem good. His damage seems extremely low. And his support capabilities just don't match Trinity. Honestly, bottom line, they don't. So what's the point? I mean, if they wanted to make a new support frame, they either had to nerf Trinity, or they had to make the new support frame as good as her. As useful. Maybe not the same thing. Maybe, like, the new frame didn't need to give him vulnerability, because God knows the game needs more than that. I mean, more of that. But, whatever the frame had, it had to be as good. And it's just not. Honestly. His ultimate does damage. We don't need more damage. There's so many damaging ultimates in this game, it's ridiculous. And the damage has a chance to drop health orbs. Big fucking whoopty. Hers gives the whole team full health, full shields, and more importantly, invulnerability for a ridiculous amount of time. I think it caps at like 30 seconds or some stupid shit. How the hell is a little bit of damage and health orbs going to compete with that? It's not. And then, on top of that, I think his third ability is just health. Again, how is an ability that gives just health gonna compete with an ability that maxes out your health, shields, and gives you invulnerable for 30 seconds. It's just not. Period. There's no way it's gonna compete. Maybe you could argue they could use them both together, but you don't need it. I mean, you don't need an Oberon when you have a Trinity. Honestly. And hell, I mean, why would you even want an Oberon? Just use 2 Trinities if you want more support. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Oberon is going to need some serious buffs. So, yeah, anyways. That's the new patch. I think it was 13.1. I'll see you guys next time. The way it works is it's a grenade launcher type. That's the arc of it. That's the way it functions. But it's sticky. So if you shoot an enemy with it, it'll stick to them, and then they can run around, and it'll explode after a certain amount of time. It seems like the best out of the 3. And then the melee weapon, it looks very uninteresting. The, what is it called? Magistrar? This thing right here, the mace. The base stats, its functionality, it's just another melee weapon. They haven't really done anything interesting with melee weapons in this game. They just, you pull them out, you swing them at the enemy, and it does damage. It's not like the primaries where you have different functionalities and different types of damage and different types of activation and stuff like that. So anyways, there's all the new stuff for the update, and like I said, we are going to be showing off the new tile set, which is on Earth, and it is this one right here, Cicero Injector. And I'm going to be doing this one solo. I was going to plan to play with a couple of friends in game, but it's so late now that one of them had to go, and the other one, yeah, this one was completely changed. The name, the functionality, everything about it. It's now an area stun, and it increases all fire damage dealt, which is what Ember does. She's all fire damage. So, I don't know if I like it per se. She doesn't have that huge defensive boost now. The ability before, the way it used to work, it reduced damage she took by 90%, which basically turned her into a tank. And now she just doesn't have that anymore. She's a damage frame, which is kind of saddening because there's a lot of damage frames as it is. You don't really need another one, another pure damage frame, and that's what she is now, so, World on Fire did not get changed, but it's her best ability, so I'm going to keep it. And Fireball, they changed the way it works slightly. You'll see in game, like, the projectile moves faster now, and the way the damage is added to enemies was changed a little bit. It doesn't really matter. The big change was Accelerant, which is what it's called now. But anyways, new tile set. They changed Ember, which I just showed you. They changed Sarin, which I don't own, so I can't really show you that. And one other one. Who else did they change? Was it Trinity? They changed one other Warframe. I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. The one I'm going to be showing today is Ember. More importantly, they also introduced a new frame, which is interesting. It's called Oberon. Yeah, right there. Oberon. And looking at the abilities and how they function and their base damage, he looks really underwhelming. He's like this pseudo support frame, but he can't compete with Trinity. And if you're a support frame and you can't compete with Trinity, what's the point? I mean, technically, I guess he does do damage as well, but not much from what I've seen. One of my friends already unlocked him. I was playing with him earlier, and it looks pretty bad. The damages on his abilities look really terrible. So, yeah, Oberon... Alright, hello people, I'm the dude, and this is Warframe. They just released a new update, which coincides with my first Warframe video because I put off playing this game. I'm not gonna lie, I really did. And it turns out that was a mistake. It's a really good game. It's kind of a cross between Ninja Gaiden with the kind of parkour moves mixed in with a third-person shooter, third-person class-based shooter with upgrades and mods and abilities and tons of customization. It's just really fun, is the short version. The new update, which is 11.5, I think? Yeah, 11.5. They added in a new tile set, which I'll be showing in a minute. They changed a bunch of Warframes. The one I'm going to be showing is Ember. They changed several of her abilities. I think it was... does not look good. The new weapons... they don't really look amazing either. The Karak is the new rifle, which should be around here somewhere. Primary weapons. Yeah, this right here. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it's not... It's not different enough to be anything special. As far as the base stats go. The goo gun, which is a secondary, I think. Let's see, weapons, secondary. Yeah, the Stug. Not only does it look hideous, it is easily the ugliest weapon in the game. It's also probably, ironically enough, the best out of the new ones. It's base corrosive damage, which means it's going to be great against Grenier. Although you won't be able to make elemental combinations easily with it. Not without, what you normally have to do, adding in 2 elements. I guess it'd be easier to combine 2 different combined elements on this weapon because it's already got one. I don't know, whatever. The